Green, Klay Thompson, and Chris Paul. 60 minutes before every game, we get you ready for tip. It's Warriors Live, and it starts now.
Dude, I thought those guys were never going to shut up. FP Santangelo here. It's Warriors Live, presented by Xfinity, the Xfinity 10G network, made for streaming live sports. This takes me back, man. This takes me back to the old days when I used to do the Warriors pre- and post-game show for that other station. I would go out to the arena, and I'd do the pre-game show from the arena, scramble back across the Bay Bridge, and do the post-game show in the studio. So it's nice to be with you guys, get you all set for Warriors-Hawks. Warriors look good last night, man. They're playing good basketball. 121-110 win over the Grizzlies. And it's always good to start a road trip with a win. I mean, 5 games in 7 days. That's like a baseball schedule. I mean, it's not like they're just standing around in a pasture. I mean, these guys are running up and down the court all night. What they did last night, JK is the story. Jonathan Kuminga, 29 points. Pajemski, Pods, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 14 assists. The guy's playing with so much confidence. Those two young guys, in the way they're going about it right now, Kuminga, 21 years old, and finally kind of coming into his own. I don't know if it's the fresh cut that he's got going, but the way he's playing defense, the effort, the attitude, the confidence with which he's playing, finishing at the rim, playing downhill, whatever he's doing right now is working. The game is moving slow for Jonathan Kuminga. It's really cool to watch the development of this kid. And I was talking before I came on the air, he gives me Dominique Wilkins vibes. Now, I don't know if he flies as high as Wilkins, but he does. He is a high flyer. And some of the dunks he has are spectacular. But just the way he's so confident right now going to the basket. And the way this team is playing. I mean, the Grizzlies were shorthanded last night. It's still the NBA. You know, they went in there last time and they had all the turnovers. The Warriors did. The Grizzlies had 43 throws to the Warriors 10. But last night, the way they're playing as a team, the way they're playing as a unit, to me, tells me that things are trending in the right direction. You see what Steve Kerr is saying after the games, how excited he is about their effort. And I don't know if it's the Coach Decky effect. I don't know what's going on. I don't think pro sports is like a Hollywood movie. You don't lose somebody like that and all of a sudden dedicate your season to them. But like I've said before on our air here on 95.7 The Game, that you can dedicate your attitude and your effort to somebody. And that's what I'm seeing right now. When I'm watching this team play, and I'm watching the effort that they're giving, on a nightly basis. You know, attitude equals effort to me, and they have a different attitude. They're playing like a team all of a sudden. And I'm not going to get super excited about one win over a depleted Grizzlies team, a team they should have beaten. But, like, there's things you look for in the game within the game, right? I can sit here and spit stats at you all night. Jonathan Kuminga, 7 straight games of 20 points, or 8 straight games of 20 points or more now after last night. And, you know, we could get into the numbers, but when you're a former athlete, you look at the game a little bit differently, and you're looking for, like, cohesiveness and team and unity and effort. And the way it starts and begins, to me, with watching a team play defense. Because no matter what sport it is, defense is an attitude. Like, you can't just walk out there and say, I'm going to get my points and not play defense. When you're playing defense and you're connected defensively and you watch the effort that they had on defense the last 4 or 5 games, whatever it's been, they've been great. The intensity, the way they're just, I don't know, it's just ratcheted up a notch. The ball pressure. They're just digging in big time and playing defense. And I think that's where you look first and foremost with a team. You know, how do they play defense? What kind of effort are they giving you on a nightly basis? Now, I know back-to-back games. I looked it up. It's an hour and 20-minute flight from Atlanta to Memphis. So not a big transition for those guys. But, you know, you get into your hotel room at 1 or 2 in the morning. Then all of a sudden your body's got to recover. You get to the arena early. You get hooked up to all your machines and get in your hot tub and your whirlpool bath. So we'll see how both teams recover from back-to-backs. When you look at what the Hawks did, they beat the Suns. Where's the score? I had it sitting here in my notes. They beat the Suns at home 10 times in a row. And I watched the condensed version of the game because I'm not about to watch 2 NBA games in one night. Sorry, I just don't roll like that. I do have a social life. Trae Young. I saw young Steph Curry vibes last night. He was coming across half court and launching bombs. He had 32 points last night, 12 of 17 shooting, 7 of 11 from three-pointers, and not one three-pointer was even close to the line. I mean, step back, sidestep, quick first step, the assists he had last night. He had 15 assists to go along with 32 points. So this whole thing tonight, to me, is going to be a shooting fest. Steph Curry versus Trae Young. It's going to be fun to watch. Warriors Live is presented by Xfinity, the Xfinity 10G network made for streaming live sports. Yeah, they beat the Suns 129-120 last night. It's the 20th time this year that Trae Young has gone for at least 30 points. So they didn't see Trae last time, right? He had a concussion. He was out. They're definitely going to see Trae tonight. And I'm wondering, like, back-to-backs in basketball. We used to giggle in baseball about back-to-backs. Like, back-to-backs, like, bro, we play like 20 days in a row. But we also just stand there. We just stand. We literally stand there and we check out people in the stands. We don't have, in basketball, you don't really have time to check out people in the stands, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, back-to-back games, 5 games in 7 days. That's brutal. But starting a road trip with a win. Let me just touch on that for a second. That's no small thing. Because all of a sudden, you play a good game against a team you're supposed to beat. Are they going to beat the Suns tonight? I don't know. I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks. Are they going to beat the Hawks tonight? Excuse me. I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks. But when you start a road trip off with a win, you just get that good vibe, right? Their flight last night was a happy flight. Like when you win a game, the flight is different. And what does that mean? Well, when you're on a charter and it's the guys and you're losing, you're struggling, and you get on the bus, and usually the coach sits in the front seat of the bus, and you have to walk by the coach, and it can be weird. And then the coach usually sits in the very first seat in first class when you walk on the charter. The bus pulls up to the plane, you come up the stairs. And if you've lost a bunch of games in a row, it can get weird. But when you win at the highest level and you play a good game like they did, and even though it's an hour and 20-minute flight, you know, you got the fun locker room after, you got the music playing, probably a few beverages on the bus on the way to the airport. You get on the plane and it's a happy flight. And like, what does a happy flight mean? It just means that you have momentum into the next affair. An awkward flight, bent on them. You're sitting there and you're scared to play music. You're scared to even laugh because you've lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row. You're scared that the coach or the manager is going to like glare at you back in the middle of the plane. And so winning the first game of a road trip when you're playing 5 and 7 it's just huge. You just get things off in the right direction. So they're playing the Hawks tonight. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference. They're 21-27, 15 and a half back of the Celtics. They're 11-13 at home, but they're 6-4 in their last 10. So this is not a layup for the Warriors, even though they do have momentum. But the Hawks coming off a big win against the Suns. The Warriors 12th in the Western Conference. You guys all know they're 21-24, 12 games back at OKC. So we'll see. Yeah, OKC's 34-15. Oh my goodness. So we'll see what happens tonight. Let's do the injury report. Are we good for the injury report? The injury report brought to you by Boxer and Gerson. Today's injury report is brought to you by what I just said, Boxer and Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. For more information, visit boxerlaw.com. So Moody's out with a calf. He didn't have one. He just has a sore calf. If he had a calf, that would be news. Saric is out with illness. I don't know what he's got, but if it's anything what I got, I've been sick for over a month. So if anybody has a cure for over a month-long cold that I'm fighting off, please call us after the show. Chris Paul is out with a calf. He did not have one. He just has a sore calf. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And then GPT is out with a hamstring. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks as well. There's some injury for the Hawks. There's some injuries for the Hawks, but nobody cares. We really don't care. So I'm not going to read those. Does anybody care? Call the station, email the station if you care about any Atlanta Hawks that have an injury tonight. So let's just knock out the promos, and then I'll just BS for the last couple of minutes. Sound good? Sound good to you? All right. Let's do the take it to the bank prediction. It's brought to you by Fremont Bank. So you got to step on the sponsor. I've learned this. I used to read all the promos in the broadcast. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises. What are my predictions tonight? I have no idea. I know JK is going to make it 9 in a row of 20 points. I'm calling that right now. He's 21 years old. Do you think he cares about back-to-backs? No. He's 21. His legs are going to be springy and bouncy, and he's going to drink lots of coffee and be ready for the game, or whatever NBA guys do before the game. And it's going to be a 3-point barrage. Like, to me, the game within the game tonight is watching mini Steph versus Steph. Trae Young last night, like it was one of the coolest performances I've seen in a while. Like I don't watch the Hawks. I don't care about the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not going to sit here and BS anybody. Like I love the Hawks and I watch them all the time. But Trae Young was launching, literally, you have to pick up Trae Young if you're the Warriors tonight, right across half court. Like that's the range with his push jump shot. Like he kind of shoots it right around, I don't know, maybe his chin. It's not an over-the-head three-pointer. It's kind of like the old school push three-pointer, which gives him like more range. Like he was making 40-footers last night. Like Steph doesn't do that much anymore, does he? I don't feel like Steph like comes across half court and just launches. I mean, he took a couple long ones last night, and I've seen a couple long ones this year, but not the ones where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe he's shooting it. And then it goes in and you're shocked. But Trae Young last night was doing that on the reg. So Warriors have to stop him. If the Warriors stop Trae Young, I don't know how you do it. But if you do, you win. So we'll see what happens. We're excited to go out to Atlanta, excited to watch this team play, just because they're playing like a unit. They're playing together. They're playing hard. There's effort there. I mean, you're going to have to dig down deep on a travel day back-to-back to find that effort again tonight. But sometimes that thing just snowballs, man. When you start playing well, you kind of like have a lighter kind of mindset and a lighter attitude when you take the court. It seems like they're having fun. And I got to say this, like before we get to the end here, we got about 5 minutes left. When I first came on the air, I was really anti-Draymond in what he was doing in missing games. And I thought, wrongly, that the Warriors would be better without Draymond Green. Just because as a teammate, you want to have someone there that you can count on. You want to have someone there when you look to your left, he's actually there. And to have a guy that's inconsistent and to me had his own agenda of, me getting mad and me doing stupid things was more important than we winning the game. And I thought for some reason, errantly, that they'd be better without Draymond Green. And I was wrong. Like, really wrong. When I watched him last night and how everything runs through him, he's the hub of the offense. Like, he starts it. He sets picks. He plays physical. You guys all know this. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys watch every single night. But, like, what he adds to this team, and if he can control his emotion, which he's having trouble with. He's on the edge all the time, but he has to play like that. Like, he's more valuable. I said on our air that I didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze anymore. And I was wrong. Just watching this guy play and what he means to this team and watching the attitude and the effort that he gives on defense every single night. And to see the way these guys are responding to him and to see the way like Pajemski's playing and the way his confidence. He's confident. Pajemski's confident without being cocky. Like, there's a big difference, right? There's arrogance and there's confidence. And there's something humble about Pajemski and the way he goes about it. But man, he's a basketball player. He's a gym rat. He's playing with his hair on fire every night. He has a nose for the basketball, getting rebounds. He has confidence. He's not afraid to take a shot. And he's getting more and more minutes. He's playing like what is he playing? Like in the rookie all-star game, the rising star all-star game? That's super cool, man. That guy's fun to watch. But then, back to Draymond, he is cocky. He is confident and he is arrogant, but maybe this is what this team needs right now. And getting back to my initial point before we wrap this whole thing up, I don't think it's going to be a Hollywood ending this year. I don't know where it's going to end with this team. I don't know what they end up accomplishing as a team, but I think there's a huge tip of the cap to guys that are human beings. It's not a video game. It's not fantasy football or fantasy basketball or fantasy baseball. These are real live human beings playing in real live situations, and they just went through like a traumatic strategy, not like a traumatic tragedy, where one of their coaches just didn't die. They saw their coach die right in front of their eyes. And for them to be able to go out there in his honor and to play the game with a passion and to play the game as a team all of a sudden, it's not just dribble, Steph, pick for Steph run around with the ball, shoot anymore. Like, there's ball movement, there's team, there's selfless play. There's Kuminga making a steal. He passes it to Pajemski, and Pajemski has an open layup, but he decides to reward Kuminga with the alley-oop and the 2 points because he's the one that busted his ass on defense and made the play. So you look for little things like that to all of a sudden see that these guys have a chance. They're not playing disconnected. They were playing disconnected for a long time this year, and I don't know if it was because of the distractions. I don't know if it was because of, they have to answer questions about Draymond. Draymond's not there. What do we do? I don't know if Steve Kerr's finally found the right rotation. I love the fact that he's letting Jonathan Kuminga be a star, a budding star in this league. He will be an all-star. Mark that down. The way he's playing right now, he's the guy you watch. The two guys I mentioned to start this pregame show with, Podziemski and Kuminga, are my two guys. So we'll get you all ready for the game. We'll get you out to Atlanta. Excited for this game tonight. I'm going to scooter back to my house, and then I'll be here for the post game. So if I don't get hit by a bus on Market Street, you guys will hear me after the game. We'll have some fun. I'll take some calls after the game. And I'm excited to watch this game. What's on Tap is brought to you by Farmers Brewing. Have you tried Farmers Brewing yet? If not, it's time to put your lips on a farmer. All right. So we'll get you all out to Atlanta right now. Let's go over it one more time. The Hawks are 10th in the Eastern Conference. They're 21-27. They're 15.5 games back of the Celtics. They're 11-13 at home. They're playing good basketball. They're 6-4 in the last 10 games. The Warriors, you guys know, are 21-24. They are 12 games back of the Thunder, and they are 12th in the Western Conference. Outside looking in, but I think that's about to change. All right, let's get you out to Atlanta. Tim Roy with the call. You're listening to 95.7 The Game.
Since first opening its doors in 1964, Fremont Bank has approached banking with a simple idea in mind. Growth comes one customer at a time.